Welcome back, everyone, to read the book first. Stephanie is back again to talk about Twilight, the 2008 beautiful masterpiece, right? No notes.
No, none.
None. Perfect movie. Never
Yeah.
no flaws. As I was watching it, I was thinking about trying to think if I think I might have watched the movie before I read the first book. Like which I didn't think when I was reading the book that happened, but I like really like sat there and tried to like remember the order of events. So I did think I originally watched the movie first,
hmm
but it was like so close, it didn't really matter. But I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I could recite it backwards and forwards. Like
hmm
it just,
It's also one of those movies that once it came out on DVD, everyone like at any sleepovers like, what do we want to watch? Everyone's like, Twilight? Sure.
yeah.
Like so like it's like our my friends is either Twilight we rewatched or we rewatched the Cinderella story with Hilary Duff. Those are the two
Yes.
movies we put on sleepovers. No other
In fact,
movies.
you and I have had an adult sleepover centered around Twilight.
That's true. I forgot. Yes, that we had to. Yes, when we had little snacks. That was.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I think last fall I watched it with like my Blacksburg friends too. So like just always Twilight all the time.
Yeah. It's a good
Um,
like default movie for when you just have some time,
yeah.
but you don't want to like get too much into something.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, just brain, no thoughts, just vibes.
Yes, exactly. It's like The
Uh,
Office of movies.
yes, yes. And that is how we know we are millennials by according to that statement. Okay, so the movie, it starts out with just immediately, it is like almost shocking. It's just like the famous lines, I never given much thought to how'd I die. And then it's a deer walking through the woods, and you're like, this is a movie about what?
It's like so deep, and then nothing else in the movie is like that.
No, no. And I love how we have like it's stylistically it's already like just like weird because then we have like a POV of like someone hunting and chasing this deer and then it
hmm
flashes and that's all we ever have of that.
Yeah. And everything is blue.
The blue tint, the famous blue tint, which I like. And like
Yeah.
I think I even liked it before it was like the Twilight nostalgia.
hmm
Like they took a chance and they had a low budget and
hmm
they worked with what they got.
I think, not to go all AP Lit teacher on you, but like, I feel like the blue tone works well in a movie about like blood and like,
hmm
and like cold. It works well.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I just it's just so like it's so fun to just like try to take it so seriously, but then you're like, wait, this is Twilight.
So my husband watched it with me for the
Uh-huh.
rewatch, and he's seen bits and pieces.
hmm
But immediately, like that deer scene, I can feel him staring at me from the other side of the couch. Just judgment. Immediately, like, you like this?
It's like, yeah, just
Yeah,
wait. It gets better.
yeah, I'm a woman of literature. Of course I like it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then there's the stark like flash to Bella in Phoenix where she looks so sick. She looks so ill. Like she could faint at any minute. She's like so pale and like the desert of Phoenix.
hmm
And it was like, we get it. We
hmm
need the stark
Yeah.
contrast. But like it's like she looks so bad there. I'm like, yes, get out of the sun. You're gonna dehydrate and die.
I just, I feel not bad for Kristen Stewart. Well, sometimes I do.
hmm
But if I were to be on camera and they made me look like that,
Oh yeah.
I'd be very sad.
Yeah, and the just also her like the wig,
The wig is wigging.
the wig is wigging. And it's like it is not the worst wig we have in the franchise, let alone
No,
this movie.
no.
But it's like her hair is perfect consistently, which is good. That means they like took care of the wig, but also I'm like, but if you want to make it look real, no teenager's hair is that beautiful all the time.
No. And
No.
not styled, like layered.
hmm hmm
Most teenagers just have like a
Yeah.
not supermodel
Yeah.
layer chop. Yeah.
Or there it's like wacky,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
one, it's either really like this basic or bonkers.
Yeah. You don't tend to get into your hairstyle until you're like an adult.
Hmm. Yeah. And she's not like a girly girl either, so it doesn't like fit her vibe,
No,
right?
it does not.
But she's moving to Forks, and we have a voiceover by Bella as she's moving. Voiceovers in movies, it's like hit or miss. I think it works here
Mhm.
because like the book is from, or follows Bella only, and like the movie needs to be moody, so we need to know her like deep moves throughout the movie. So it's
The
not
only
terrible.
part that we get a voiceover though, like a
We get
narration.
some later,
Okay.
like randomly in the middle, when she's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
talking about how Edward's not there. She gets to Forks, and then we have Charlie. We love Charlie.
Well, before she gets to Forks, when they're on their way to the airport,
Oh
we get
yeah.
the iconic "When a full moon turns
Oh yeah.
over." The music.
The music is so good.
It had no right being so good.
Those songs, I cannot listen to them without immediately being transported back into this movie.
Those songs, those artists have been typecasted by this
Yes.
movie. Yeah.
Yes. And the music fits the vibe of the Pacific Northwest, and like it's indie
Hmm.
bullshit, you
Hmm.
know. As to quote you, you called me once a Pacific bitch. So as a Pacific
Bitch.
bitch, I
Yep.
can say that. Like this, the vibe of the music, it's just like it hits the indie, like pretentious brain of me when I was in high school. And I was like, yes, I
I was a
loved it.
wannabe Pacific. I think I told you my Tumblr URL was Pacific Heart and Soul. I was fully wannabe on that. So
Yeah.
this came out and I was like, oh my God.
I need to buy a flannel
Yeah.
ASAP.
And I did. And I went
Yes.
and got Converse for the first time. My first pair of Chuck Taylors was seventh grade because of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta fit in, you know, the Twilight lifestyle.
Yeah.
The actor who plays Charlie does so well.
Yes.
Like he's not just playing like Charlie from the book, but he's also playing a dad that's distant, but obviously wants to not be distant, but doesn't know how to not be distant. And your daughter's suddenly a teenager, and you're just like,
Mhm.
well, okay, bye. Like that's like,
Sales lady picked out the comforter. You like purple,
hmm
right?
yeah. Billy and Jacob show up with a truck. The truck one is this orange, crappy old truck that's going to fall apart, and because it's so rusted because it rains all the time. That truck does not work well.
No.
Looking at it, I'm like, no, should not be there. We have Jacob played by Taylor Lautner, and this is where the wiggery just kind of stops.
Uh-huh.
His wig is so bad.
Uh-huh.
And like the casting of Taylor Lautner also not good because he's a white dude.
I was gonna say, isn't he not native?
Yeah, he's white.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's odd that I guess the pacing of the movie, you have to do it this way. But in the book, we don't meet Jacob until
Hmm.
Lapush.
Yeah.
And so to have him just be like, oh yeah, like we used to make fun pies,
Hmm.
little, like just so
Yeah.
casually.
Yeah.
And then she also loves the truck, which in the book she calls it that thing.
Yeah. She loves it. She like squeals.
Yeah. It's the really the only excitement we get out of her for a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. For most of the movie, it
Yeah.
starts with a high and then energy goes back down.
Yeah.
So she's like settled up in Forks, and then her first day of school, it's just there's so many things happening.
It wouldn't have happened that way if she wasn't wearing a bowling shirt.
Uh-huh.
The bowling shirt's too much. I draw a line there.
The bowling shirt is just like, why that choice? Like she's wearing layers because she's cold. That makes sense. And also with the like style
Mhm.
that they're going for,
That I
that
can
makes sense.
excuse.
Yeah, but the bowling shirt. The only person I ever knew who wore a bowling shirt were people that went bowling.
If you don't want to be the center of attention or open for scrutiny,
Hmm.
the last thing you should wear is a bowling shirt because the first
Yes.
thing I'm doing is looking at you when you walk
A
in anywhere.
bowling shirt is almost as horrendous as a fedora.
Yes, it screams you want attention. A bowling
Yeah.
shirt is ordering fajitas. You want attention.
Yes, absolutely. That was Bella's biggest mistake.
Yes, that's mistake
Yeah,
one.
of many of this movie. But then so she's getting bombarded by a bunch of like high schoolers because again, she's a new kid on the block. She's like everyone's excited. But Eric is the first like person who interacts with her that we meet, and his hair is so 2008. It hurts.
So Metro Station, Boys Like Girls,
Oh, so
long time
much.
ago.
And I love how he plays Eric too. Like I knew so many dudes in high school who were him, and I was like, yeah, that's a high schooler.
Yes.
I'm immediately annoyed. Yes, that's a high schooler.
Yes.
Bella hits Mike with the volleyball, which I found funny.
All I can think of is watching the behind the scenes as a teenager and like seeing how they shot that scene.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
I tried finding the behind the scenes clips of just Twilight, but the only videos on YouTube I found were like of the series as a whole and mostly on like all the Renesmee stuff. And I'm like, I don't care about that right now. I want
Yeah,
the
I wasn't looking this stuff on up on YouTube. I was on newmoonmovie.org every day in 2009 seeing what people were saying. It was like a forum.
Yep.
And that's where we got videos that you won't find on YouTube.
You were deep into it.
I was checking every single day. I need updates. Thank you.
Yeah. So
You're
we have Mike, who like immediately is like, obviously you can see that he has like a crush on her or whatever. We meet Jessica, played by Anna Kendrick, and this is the most perfect casting I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life.
Yes. Did you see that she said sometimes like she forgets that she's in that movie?
Yes, because she's just playing herself,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful. And I just, I love her as Jessica so much. A little side note, when we made Isaac watch The Princess Diaries, me and my friend Marissa, when we did the podcast last year for that, and when Anne Hathaway came on, I was like, "Hey Isaac, who's that act?" Like we like tease him because he never knows the actresses, and he's like, "That's Anna Kendrick, right?" He just came out from around the corner and looked at me.
Oh my
But then
God.
when I asked him, I'm like, when I was watching it, he was like walking by yesterday when I was watching it, and I was like, "Hey, who's this?" He goes, "Oh, it's Anna Kendrick," and I'm like, "Okay."
Knows Anna Kendrick.
He
Yeah.
knows Anna Kendrick. I'm like,
She's
okay.
she's so I think she embodies what Stephanie Meyer wrote. Like
Yes.
if anybody played their part perfectly to the T for the book, it's her. Cause like she is
Hmm.
friendly with Bella and she does kind of like take her on and like introduce her to
Hmm.
people. But there is also that little hint of jealousy for that attention. And it's not Mean Girl. It's not
Mm-mm.
Lauren, but it's like, oh, she's jealous.
I feel like it's her and then Charlie are the closest to like as written in the book, at
Yes.
least in this movie. At lunch, there's that dude that randomly kisses Bella on the cheek.
Hey, yeah.
I was
I
like, okay,
don't
assault,
talk about
what?
that enough.
Yeah, I totally like forgot that that happened in the movie.
That was Tyler, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what?
Which would make
What?
sense if he had already, spoiler, hit her with the van, but he hadn't
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. I it freaks me out. But then we get the slow-mo of the colons, and this cracks me up each time. And like we see slow-mo of like in teen movies. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head, but we see like characters introduced in a slow-mo way, like either bad guy, like the bad guy, or like, the
Mhm.
popular kid. And I just love that they do that with the Cullens. And also they're all wearing white.
And they're all like, and obviously, this is a artistic choice. They're all
Hmm.
emoting their personality trait in that walk,
Yes.
like extra.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, we have three lines this movie and we are going to be on screen and they're gonna know who we are. Which like
Alice is
fair
like,
enough.
I'm fairy like, let me do a twirl.
Yeah. And I also love Jessica, how she's like, it's creepy. They're dating each other, but they also live together. Gross.
They're like together. Which, by the way, third person in this conversation, Susie Crabgrass.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got some Angela, and she's even better in the movie than she is in the book, I think,
Hmm.
as a
I
friend.
agree. I agree. Yeah. And then we have as Edward's coming around the corner, there's like extra music at the slow-mo, and she's like staring at him, and then he like stares at her, and it's just too much.
Don't waste your time.
And then the bio scene
I can't handle it.
when she goes into the biology room and she stops in front of the fan and it slow-mos her hair and he just like Poor Robert Pattinson in this moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about who's playing who,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
How did we miss? One, Kristen Stewart. This is like her like huge breakout role. I mean, she was in a few good movies, like well-to-do movies or whatever. How want to you want to say it before this,
This made
but
her a household name.
yeah, for better and for worse. Like
Yes.
for her worse, not for our worse. And then we have Robert Pattinson, fresh off of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So like already we are obsessed because, you know, poor Robert dies in the Goblet of Fire. So we all needed more of him.
When I tell you this man was the love of my life for at
Yeah,
least 7 years of my life,
absolutely.
I knew his shoe size. I had a book on him, like facts about Robert Pattinson. I knew his shoe
Hmm.
size, like just
Yeah,
he loved In and Out, dropped out
of
of school in
course.
10th grade to go acting. Like I know everything about this man, and I
Yeah.
should.
Hmm.
The chokehold.
Yeah. And he he's a good actor. And so is
Mhm.
Kristen Stewart, just not this movie, I
No,
think. I think here she doesn't do a great job. I also don't think she had much to work with because Bella as a character has no personality besides just being bad.
and that's what I always tell people when they're like the
Hmm.
acting, and I'm like, but you have to think about what they were given.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were not given much. Like to be so I read Twilight and then like the next day we went to go see it because I read it while it was in
Hmm.
theaters. Because famously I got grounded and had to read it.
Yes.
When she described Edward, the man I had in my mind was the actor who played Kyle XY, like the guy with no belly button from ABC Family.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so when I went to go see the movie, I was so pleasantly surprised, but also the person who I envisioned for Bella,
Hmm.
yours truly. And so, like, I was out of body experience seeing myself in these
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah.
But when I saw Kristen Stewart, I was like, oh, she's doing it all wrong because she's not me. She's doing it
Yeah.
all wrong.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I think it's wild. Stephanie Meyer envisioned Henry Cavill playing Edward.
Oh my God.
But by the
No.
time I know, but by the time they were producing this movie, he was like 25.
Yeah.
So like too old,
Yeah. But 21 is cool. That's good.
right? I mean Kristen Stewart turns 18 during the filming of this,
Yeah. She
which
was
is
good, like age
yeah.
wise for that.
But yeah, 21 is a bit, but like Henry Cavill would not have been a good Edward. And then what's his face who ended up getting cast as Jasper was like before Robert Pattinson said yes, the next step was going to be the guy that played Jasper.
Jackson Rathbone.
Yeah, he was up next for Edward, which I think he would have done better than Henry Cavill, but I still
Yeah.
think Robert Pattinson's the better choice.
Yeah. No one could do it like Robert Pattinson. And I don't know how much of that is that that's what we've seen and that's what we know.
Hmm. Yeah.
But like he just for not having a great character to go off of, he did it
Yeah.
really
He does a really good job. And this is like his first, I believe his first time doing an American accent, which is like good for most of the movie.
well. Except that
Um,
random Boston accent and then a
yep.
Scottish one.
Hmm.
And
I mean, yeah.
then that part where he goes, "Hello, my name is Edward Cullen." It's like randomly very like demure.
Yeah. They make it through the bio scene. Edward is so cringy in this, but like he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be like cover like freaking out. You know,
Mhm.
he like moves the thing with his like knuckles, like a weird like I don't know, goblin or something. And Bella is just like I love that Bella sniffs her shirt.
Yeah,
Cracks me up every time, which I'm like, that's relatable.
the strawberry shampoo.
Mm, the strawberry shampoo. I forgot. And then he like rushes out there like he does in the book. Like up to this point, and like even through on this book, the movie is so close to the book. Like they
Mhm.
do change a few things, but like I think it just shows how little happens in that book for being over 400 pages.
The things that they did change had to change for pacing reasons
Yeah.
because in the book it's so drawn out.
It's just
So
slow.
like it didn't change the story too much that we met the blacks before in the
Hmm.
book. Like it
Hmm.
I didn't even remember that they did that until I
Yeah.
rewatched the movie. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. They're there already. Like we know
Mhm.
they exist. Yeah. That night, Bella goes to this like cafe that his dad or the diner that they go used to go to all the time. They go every night, and there's that creepy Santa
The little airplane bottles.
Yeah, who's
Yeah.
like, remember me? And he's like, oh yeah, that like I just creepy old
Waylon.
man. And then there's the waitress who obviously is in love with Charlie, right?
Yes.
Yes. And I love that for Charlie, but also I'm like, Charlie, you have this waitress. This is the story I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah.
want Charlie's story with this waitress. And then I think we have a Stephanie Meyer cameo
We do.
at the bar, right?
Yeah, she's sitting at the bar and being served, or yeah, served like a plate of salad or whatever.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
The next day at school, and we have like the Eyes on Fire song as the Colons are driving in.
Ha, 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 ha,
Do,
ha.
do, do, like that bass.
Oh.
And we have Emmett standing at the back of this Jeep truck.
Mm-hmm.
I love the actor who plays Emmett, and I think he does a great job, especially later with what little they give him in this movie and the other ones. But like in this world where they have these teenage, spoiler, they're vampires, these teenage vampires who are trying to be hidden, and they're also hella rich. And
Mm-hmm.
he's just standing in the back. Like, yes, high schoolers do dumb stuff, but usually they do dumb stuff in their cheap cars, not their
Yeah.
new Jeep trucks.
And if
Like,
you were already, your reputation is that you're big and scary and you don't
mhm.
socialize with people. It'd be different if it was like some kid that's chilling, everybody knows, like menacingly looking out over the parking lot. But it's
Yeah.
like actually the big guy that doesn't talk to us and is actually genuinely scary.
Hmm.
That's not the best thing to do.
No.
Because now
No.
I'm like, what are you scanning the scene for?
Hmm.
What are you planning?
Hmm. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. But Edward's not there, and that throws off Bella's whole like world. And this is where we get another voiceover where she's like, "I'm gonna confront him," but he wasn't there. And the next day, he wasn't there. And the next day,
It's
he wasn't
gone.
there. It's like, get over it. You're at a new school. There's not that many kids there. Make a new friend or talk to someone else. But
Yeah, like also they're always gone. Like that's like their
mhm.
thing. Granted, it's they're gone during good weather, but it wouldn't be weird for them to like be gone during bad weather too.
Yeah. The scene changes and it's to like a random dark like port city of some sort and someone's getting chased and killed. And I think this is the one where we see from under like the bridge graded bridge
Hmm.
where so we see that he's killed by people, but we don't
Hmm.
see how he's killed, right?
Yeah,
He just
like
falls.
dragged
And
away or
so
something.
yeah, which I think is nice that they do show these little bits instead of just being like reading it in the paper. Oh, someone died. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a smart change they did to show it. Bella randomly slips on ice, leaving her house because we have to establish that she's clumsy.
Well, I read somewhere that that was a genuine fall that they left in the movie.
Oh, well,
Yeah, but I
that's
mean,
nice.
you still like we
Yeah.
got to know that the woman can't walk.
Yeah, we gotta know she's clumsy. Uh Charlie confirms that someone got killed by an animal, is what they're
Hmm.
all saying. So something's like the mystery is like slowly like they do a good job of like teasing it like at a good pace here, whereas in the
Hmm.
book it takes like over 100 pages for anything.
Yes, pacing is definitely better in the movie than it is in the book.
Absolutely. She gets to biology class and we get the famous Mike line.
Have you like in the rain, girl?
I love that. And like there's like certain points of this I was just like, oh, this is so Pacific Northwest and it hurts. And them just like being soaked walking into class
Hmm.
and like the raincoats. I'm like, yeah, that's something that like here, obviously, you know, they don't have raincoats in the classrooms necessarily, but all the classrooms I grew up in had like places for folks to put up coats. I had a teacher who had a boot dryer in her class for us to put our rain boots to get dried.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just
I went to school in Florida for 4 years, so we dealt with a lot of rain, but like not cold rain.
hmm
So my fifth grade year, we were like out in the portables and the trailers,
hmm
and to go to like the cafeteria and stuff, we had to go outside. And we were given, if you didn't have an umbrella or like a poncho with you,
hmm
we were given
trash
garbage
bag.
bags
Hmm.
with a face cut out. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. We had those too.
Yeah.
If you left your coat at home and it was raining at recess, you had a trash bag.
Yep.
Yep.
I like that he does this while Eric is asking her to prom or to
Yes.
the dance. And you
Yes.
can just hear him in the background being like, yeah, that was really cool of you, dude. Thanks.
Hmm.
Thanks so much.
The non-colons actors that are playing the teenagers do an excellent job. Like I believe 100% that they are all juniors and seniors. They're
Yes.
all 17 and 18-year-olds just like living in a
Hmm.
small town, known each other forever.
Hmm.
They do such a great job.
You can tell that set must have been a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. But now Edward's back at biology class and he like awkwardly introduces himself to Bella and Bella's like, "What? You couldn't have done this before?" Like,
I love it. Hello.
hello?
It's so
Yeah.
good
They have their little onion root cell lab proface. They look into the microscope for like 2 seconds.
because there's geniuses, and Edward has finally met someone that's also smart, even though she's human. Girl smart?
Like,
Crazy.
they go, proface.
Yeah. She's
And a
not
face.
like other girls.
I
She
know.
knows the stages of mitosis.
She's a nerd. She wore a
No other
bowling
girl
shirt
knows
her first
that.
day of school.
Yeah,
Not
no
like other
other girl
girls.
knows that.
And they like the way they film it too is like so close up on their eyes at this point. It's like not even their full face. It's just eyes.
Yeah.
It's jarring, but also again, it fits the whole weird indie film vibe.
Yeah, I read it more as a like when I see that scene, I see it more as instead of getting narration from Bella that his eyes are changing color, we're getting her focusing like on his
On his
eyes
eyes. Yeah.
and that they're a different color, like kind
Yeah.
of indirectly. It kind of feels like an intro to an adult movie, like that
Hmm.
intensity and those
Hmm.
close-ups. You're like, what's about to happen in this
Yeah.
biology
In this biology class.
in front of the mitosis?
Yeah. And not for the golden onion, which she wins, by the way. They don't even like she carries it later.
Because
Also, the
she's not
teacher
letting it
being
go.
like, and the winner goes, gets the golden onion, like trying to hype it up. And I'm like, I
The
feel
kids
that,
boo
man.
him.
Yep. I feel that.
Yeah.
You're like, I had $5, guys, and this is all I could get. So
Yeah. You're
mhm.
welcome.
They like talk in the hallway, and Edward like walks away awkwardly.
This is where she asks about his eye color, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like,
He's,
did she get
he's just,
contact?
yeah.
Which
And he
in
just,
all those close-ups, you can see the line of the colored contacts,
mm-hmm,
including hers.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But the red eyes were hand painted. The contacts were hand painted, the red ones.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I
the
looked in the fun
contact. I
facts.
thought you meant like
Oh no, no,
going
no,
up
the
with a paintbrush
contacts.
to someone's
Sorry.
eyeball.
No.
I was
They
like,
just
okay, well,
didn't they didn't buy pre-made or pre-redded contacts. They painted the red. The
oh,
other colors were already like just the whatever color ones.
I wonder why the red got the hand painted treatment.
I don't know, maybe like I think colored contacts were just getting popular around that, remember? Like they
Yeah,
suddenly had a big boom.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
We're in the parking lot now. Bella sees Edward with his family across the parking lot. And then this van comes sliding in so fast for a parking lot.
Yeah,
And uh but Edward saves Bella, don't worry, as Tyler crashes into the car. And I love that he just like saves her and like stops and then he just like jumps up and leaves.
runs away
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
off the school property.
Hmm.
Doesn't hang around to see if she's okay.
Yeah.
There's that still, like that shot from where he's holding the van and then holding her.
Yeah.
You know, the picture. I had that in a poster in my room, right above my bed.
Classic.
I had to see it
Classic.
all the time.
All the time. Edward's always watching.
Yes.
Like he watches Bella sleep, he watches you sleep.
Oh my God,
But Bella is okay because she's saved, but she goes to the hospital and we meet Carlisle.
ew. I love Carlisle Cullen. I love Peter Facinelli.
Yes,
I've met him.
I know. How many
I,
times have you met him?
just the once, but then
Okay.
my friend Brittany, who lives in Seattle,
Hmm.
she got me a cameo from him for my wedding.
Oh yeah, that's what
And
I
he
was
wished me
remember.
a happy wedding.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
You guys are best
So
friends.
so the parasocial relationship happening between myself and Peter Facinelli is not healthy.
And it's ongoing.
Yeah. And he has no clue, which I
Yeah.
guess is what parasocial is.
Yeah. I mean, he
But
has met you. You're not a stranger.
yeah, no, that's a really close personal friend of mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I love him as Carlisle. Like he does a great job. They just didn't write Carlisle well enough, I feel like.
Which when we were talking about the book episode,
Mhm.
they had such a good opportunity to expand on Carlisle.
Yeah.
And Peter Facinelli would have been the perfect person to portray like that side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So many missed opportunities.
Yep. Absolutely. But Bella overhears Edward, Carlisle, and Rosalie arguing about her. And then Edward goes over and like gaslights Bella and been like, no,
I've
I
seen her
wasn't
in
there. It was adrenaline rush, like whatever.
your head.
Yeah.
I think you're confused.
Yeah. And then that night, Bella's like asleep. She closes her eyes. She wakes up. She sees Edward in her room. She turns to turn on the lamp, and then he's gone. And then she says
Gone.
that she dreamt him there.
No, you didn't, baby girl.
No,
You
no.
had an intruder.
Uh-huh. A teenage boy came into your room and just stood there.
Hmm.
It's just so creepy.
For
And
8 hours.
in what world ever is this like, why is this romanticized? I can
Hmm.
see like maybe standing outside the house guarding the house romanticized that I can like in a werewolf vampire book world,
Hmm.
right? That I
Hmm.
could see romanticized and appropriate, but in your room staring at you without permission?
Yeah, without your knowledge. And while you do have interactions, he's gaslighting you that he's not doing the things that you're seeing with your own eyes.
Yes.
It is so scary. If my daughter were to ever bring home this book, because my mom read this book because she wanted to
Hmm.
keep up with what I was,
Yeah.
I would have told her she's not allowed to read it for
Yeah.
that. I don't care about like the supernatural vampire or
Yeah.
whatever. Because I lived in Vegas for a lot of this, and there were a lot of
Hmm.
Mormons, and they weren't allowed to read, for
Hmm.
that. Um, whatever about that. This man, why are we looking up to him? Why are we
Stalking. Yeah.
romanticizing him? No, no, ma'am.
Mm-mm. Agreed. Absolutely. Yeah. It's just so creepy, but a great way for them to show it here, where
Yeah.
it is like, unless you read the book and until later it's kind of revealed he was there, but like you truly think she is just seeing things.
And how quickly it happened was kind of
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. It's almost like he's a predator.
Oh my God, no way.
Oh. Yeah. They go on a field trip, which I love the field trip scene just because like the teachers there are just like trying their best, and I'm like, I feel
You
that.
need what? Good, let's go. All right, here's a steaming cup of compost tea. No, don't drink it.
Don't drink it.
I have
Relatable.
said that so many times
Hmm. Hmm.
to these kids. I don't even teach science.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that Bella and Edward are like starting to flirt when they're walking in this greenhouse, and then Jessica interrupts them to talk about how Mike asked her out. And I'm like, again, Jessica being the only teenager on this film set, and I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, she's self-absorbed in a understandable way,
Yeah.
whereas Bella and Edward are in a just otherworldly way.
Yeah. And then she's like, I totally thought he was going to ask you. Like, you don't mind, right?
Yeah,
Like,
she's
girl, it's okay. Did
it's
you not
okay.
see me was talking to the Edward Cullen?
Hmm.
I got
Yeah. And then we have Eric saying it's a worm, which cracks me up each time. It's the dumb stuff. I love it.
They're so good at being teenagers.
Edward's like, Bella, we shouldn't be friends. And she's like, then why are you talking to me? He's like, I didn't said we shouldn't, not that I didn't want to. Again, that's not how you make conversation with people.
I would walk away. I'd be so annoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. At school later, we have the Bella knocking down an apple and Edward catching it like the book.
Mm-hmm.
No one holds an apple that way. Also, it took 13 times to get them that like sequence right.
And then he goes, edible art.
So gross. Why were we obsessed? You know?
What if I'm not the hero? What if I'm the
What
bad
if I'm the
guy?
villain? Your mood swings are giving me whiplash, says Bella.
I have considered radioactive spiders kryptonite. No one talks like this.
No. And they didn't
I
talk like
feel
this
like
in 1901 or wherever he lives, so like there's no excuse for him either.
if this, if I were 17 and a man child was constantly saying that he doesn't want to be friends, but he should, but he's dangerous, blah, 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 I'd be like, hey, so you're kind of fucking weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can you just tell me or just leave me alone or like what's the
Hmm.
deal? I'm going to my counselor.
Yeah. Or like or like Bella has literally no friends because she doesn't talk to Jessica and Angela like they're
Mhm.
friends at all. She doesn't talk to anyone.
Mm-mm.
Because like if any of my friends said anything, repeated anything that Edward has said at this point, I'd be
Mhm.
like, you shouldn't be with him. Like,
I'd be like, he's weird. Like, do you want me to
yeah,
block? Like, I can walk with you and keep him away.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We need to go tell a trusted adult.
yeah. What a wild time. They go to La Push Beach. Edward can't go because they're out camping or something. Is that what he says in the movie?
It's a push, baby. He said it's a little crowded and oh no. Here's how it goes. She goes, why don't you just hang out? We're all going to the beach. Should
Yeah.
come. And he's like, what beach? La Push. He's like, it's just he doesn't finish the sentence. And she goes, is there something wrong with that beach? The line delivery in this movie, hey,
Right.
are you okay?
I love it. Yeah. So Bella goes and they end up going surfing, which I thought was weird because that's not really like there are some. So I looked into it. I was like, why are the kids going surfing? Because that's like something that like the intense outdoors people do in the Pacific Northwest. It's not like a popular thing to do because it's tough to surf there and cold.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
looked into it, and apparently when they were scouting the locations, they saw folks surfing and they're like, oh, that's fun. We should put that in. Teens love surfing. But then they
Oh,
decided to not actually film them surfing because that would have been too expensive. So they just filmed him getting into surf gear.
okay.
Yeah. Like what? Yeah.
Because
But
I thought he was supposed to
anyways,
go for a bonfire, but I guess not.
right? Just kid high schoolers go to the beach to have bonfire and to get drunk. Not
Yeah.
that I ever did that, parents, if you're listening, but
Yeah. I didn't drink until
that's
21.
yeah, absolutely. I still don't drink. And
No,
I'm 30. I don't drink.
I'm
Anyways,
holy.
Jacob shows up with some friends and they have red vines, and I squealed over these goddamn red vines because here on the East Coast, everyone likes Twizzlers, and you can't find
Yeah.
red vines here. Twizzlers suck.
Mm-mm.
It's because you live on the East Coast most of your life. This is why you think this. It's horrible. When I went back to Seattle in June for my friend's wedding, I got a huge tub of red vines and brought them back, and I miss them.
Oh, no.
And I looked it up on Amazon. It costs almost like $28 to get a tub of red vines off Amazon. And I was like, that's horrendous.
We had Twizzlers at our Twilight theme sleepover.
Yeah,
Remember
I
that?
know. I'll eat them. I'm not saying that I'm like, I
We
love junk
also
food.
we also had a drinking game to go along with it,
We
but we don't
did.
drink. So
No, we don't drink. It was water
yeah.
and electrolytes.
Yeah. We had to, what was it, chug for the duration of Bella and Edward staring at each other.
Yeah,
Done.
that's not a good job. Not a don't recommend. I mean, unless you have a goal in mind for your night.
Yeah. To be hydrated.
Yeah, of all the electrolytes. So Jake eating red vines. I love red vines so much. In my first car in high school, I had red vines always in the glove drawer of my car because I was the friend with the car, so I drove my friends all around.
Yeah, same.
And so what they would do is they would pay me in red vines instead of for gas. So they'd bring a bag of red vines. So I always had red vines. Dude,
Oh
I
my
loved
God.
red vines.
I can't.
So I felt very seen by this scene of them eating red vines on the beach. I was like, ah, teenagedom. That's what I did. Anyways, Jake is there with his friends. Jessica or someone talks about how that Bella's friend Edward didn't show up. And then the one friend that's with Jacob goes, the Colons don't come around here. Like that's his one line. And
Yeah.
he said it with his chest out, which I love.
It was very, I don't know if I can say this, it was very cunty.
It
He
yeah,
delivered.
yeah, absolutely. And you can
Colins
say
don't
that, don't
come
worry.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got the message. And we don't need to
Yeah.
know anything else about this character. We just know that he hates the Colons.
The conversation literally stopped.
Hmm.
He was so
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah. Bella and Jacob talking about the old scary story. How he says that.
It's really just a scary story. What I like
The
about
scary
that though
story.
is whereas Jake's friend just said the cones don't come here so intensely that the
Hmm.
conversation stopped. Bella says, "What did your friend mean by that?" And Jacob goes, "You caught that, huh?" Everyone caught it. It
Yeah.
stopped the
Hmm.
conversation.
Yeah. We were silented.
Yeah.
And and like for all of the like not great representation these movies do, Taylor Lautner, I love him in this movie. Like he plays a dumb, like himbo teenage
Mhm.
boy so well.
Yes.
And like, should he have been cast? No, he's not indigenous. But guess what? That's what we got. And he, for what he, you know,
I'm surprised that they casted someone who was like passing because
hmm
it's 2007,
yeah,
2008. They could have very easily Scarlett Johansson this and nobody would
hmm
have said anything.
yeah,
Like, so I'm not giving them props. It's not like,
no,
but like, for the time period, it's
hmm
a little shocking. It's a little like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. Jacob goes and tells the whole legend. We get the flashback of like the Cullens in like the 50s outfits or whatever.
I'm kicking my feet. I love that part. The fedoras and like the newsboys caps.
Yeah, because they would go hunting and get their nice clothes messed up. That makes no sense. We get it. It took a long time, like it took place a long time ago.
And they're all
It this,
crouching and hissing.
yeah.
Because the sepia tone doesn't tell you that it was a long time
Mm-mm.
ago. No.
No, you have to be very obvious with
Yeah.
this audience so they know everything. And I also love how he's telling the story, and then the background, Mike is chasing Jessica with the bull kelp, and I'm like, again, that
Yeah.
is relatable. That is what we did. We chased each other with seaweed.
These background characters really made the movie.
The bull kelp also makes really good pickles. If you pickle it, it's like a big thing in out west, and it's yummy.
I'd rather die.
Kelp pickles are good, dude.
Ew. Oh my God. I want to throw up. Just kelp pickle? No.
There's also kelp salsa, also good.
Ew. You guys actually eat that?
Yeah, it's so sustainable, dude. It's helping the ocean.
Kelp. Reminds me of SpongeBob when the guy's like, "Where's my drink? My diet Dr. Kelp." I can't.
That's me with my pickled kelp.
Ugh.
Anyways, but you can make it out of bull kelp because it has like a texture like a pickle.
Ugh.
I'm sorry to gross you out, but that's
Yeah.
Alaska things. Um uh and that's like the end of the La Push kind of scenes. Then we get there's this dude in a boat and like this weird like inlet. It's not quite a harbor. It looks like
It's
he's on a
Waylon.
lake.
It's
Yeah.
the guy from the restaurant, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's sitting there like fooling around on his boat, and then he hears something and he like starts getting all freaked out. And he does what I would do, which was start to leave, but he just didn't do it fast enough. He's trying to be casual, which is silly. But then a lady shows up and she has beautiful red hair and this huge fur, and it's
Hmm.
just like kind of wild looking. And then we have like another person like jumps in the back of the boat. This like blonde, creepy dude jumps in. And then we have Lamont who's like, let's not play with our food. And
Change, please.
this is this is like when we first actually get the full like view. Oh, this is about vampires. This whole
Mhm.
time it was like hearsay, but now we're like they're showing him getting killed by a vampire,
Yeah.
which is I think good pacing wise, just to like speed it up. We get it. There's vampires.
I also think talking about casting, Cam Gigandet is a great James.
Yes. Yes.
He is scary. And then what's her face for the first Victoria is a
Hmm.
great Victoria. So then, spoiler
Absolutely.
alert, when we get a little cast change, there was a
Yeah.
big,
Yeah. Absolutely. I think she's fits Victoria way better.
yeah,
For she has like no lines in this, but like just like she's menacing. Every time she's on screen, I'm like in awe and terrified, which is what she should be doing.
yeah. And she's described as having like a cat-like face, and
Hmm.
this actress, like,
Yeah.
very, very feline, like
Yeah.
just fits so well.
Yeah. Bella's at home Googling legends and she finds a bookstore in Port Angeles she wants to go to. You know, just Stephanie Meyer doing casual self-insert of her Googling for this book. Top result only. Who
But
needs peer reviews?
good for her. Bella, she skipped over Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. She went to the local bookstore
It's true.
and she's
Support local,
supporting.
Bella Swan.
Yeah.
But in the book, she doesn't have a library card, so I don't trust it.
Yeah, there's that.
The next scene, it's a sunny day, and all of the high schoolers are like taking their clothes off and sunbathing. This is also so relatable. It's on randomly in like April, we'll have one sunny day, and everyone is sitting outside suddenly, and you're just like, this is amazing. And it's like, oh, yes, we all have seasonal affective disorder, and we need this vitamin D desperately.
I couldn't live there.
So relatable. But like Jessica being like this, I'm like, I understand. But the Cullens are not there because they get pulled out to go hiking on nice days. Totally normal.
Jessica tried that on her parents, not even close.
Yeah. The girls take Bella to Port Angeles to go shopping. We have a very like minimal like shopping situation where Bella just like again, not a good friend. She's like, it looks nice. And she's like, you said that about all the dresses.
Looks great.
I just want to go to this bookstore. And they're like, okay.
She's not like other girls.
No, not like other girls. And she goes to the bookstore, she finds the book, and then she gets chased around by some drunk guys. And this part is scary. And it's like filmed so well. And I believe, doesn't a lady direct this movie?
And I think that's why it was so scary because
Yeah.
that has been every single one of us has been walking on a sidewalk
Hmm.
and we have thought we're being followed. And then you see that and you see the guys come around the corner ahead of her. And in the book, she says, like, I'm not being followed, I'm being herded.
Yeah,
Like that is, I think, all of our worst nightmare.
absolutely. Yeah, it is a lady,
It's
Catherine
Catherine.
Hardwicke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Catherine Hardwicke.
Yeah, she not edited, she directed this.
She did a great. I think each movie got a different director.
Yeah.
She really like, yeah, that's terrifying.
It's a scary scene, but who comes to save her? Edward does, gaming around in that fucking, what is it? A Volvo.
The shiny silver Volvo. And he gets the drunk bad guys away by going
Oh yeah.
his chest.
It's a very I am Batman kind of situation there.
If I were drunk and someone did that to me, I would do it back. But
Yes. If you were sober and someone did that to you, you would do it back.
yeah.
Edward saves her. He's like driving through town recklessly. He's like, "Don't me down, Bella." And Bella's like, "Put on your seatbelt," which is like,
You don't know the vile, repulsive things they were thinking.
and then he just like giggles at her about the seatbelt. They go to the restaurant, which is called the Bloated Toad.
Yes.
And I love that name.
That's in Twilight Seen It. That's how I know it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The girls here like are equally like, "Ooh, you're with Edward," and but also like, "Do you want us to take you?" Like they're less like, "Bye," like in the book. Edward and Bella go and have dinner. And this is where Edward just like again casually talks about how he can read minds.
Oh, but he does it so much better in the movie than in the
Oh
book because he
yes.
goes money, sex,
Mhm.
cat.
That the old like
That guy.
neck beardy guy. I think the restaurant scene is better in the movie
hmm
than the book. It's faster, it's more to the point, and Edward seems more normal than in the
Yeah.
book, which he needs all that he can get. On the drive home, Edward's fingers accidentally touch Bella's fingers when they're adjusting the heat, and she's like, "It's cold."
She does the monotone thing again. She goes,
Yeah.
"Your hands are so cold." Whoa.
Whoa,
And
I am so emotional.
like in that same breath, they see like the cruiser
Hmm.
and the dead body, and she goes, "That's my dad's car." Or like,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
what
my
is
dad's still at
going on?
work. Yeah.
What is going on? Like it's all very like, "Hey, what's up, girl? We can put some little pizzazz in that voice."
Bella goes in and finds out that it was her dad's friend that got killed and tries to like comfort him. And it's like
Mhm.
sweet for a moment, but also then you remember that Bella has no emotions. And then in this moment, she suddenly like just the performance is just so variable. Like it's like one moment she's monotone, the next moment she's very emotional.
It's like very clear that they filmed these on different days,
Mhm.
which I mean, every movie, obviously, you don't film it in one day, but like it's like she wakes up each morning with a different demeanor.
Hmm.
And it's like, what are we gonna get?
What version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're leaving that police station and they see Waylon's feet under the body
Hmm.
bag or whatever, and his dead feet make her think of Edward.
Hmm.
It like goes to that. And I get what they're trying to say is like, oh, maybe Edward's not alive because he's
Yeah.
got the same skin tone as this dead person. But
Hmm.
I'm always like, dead feet? Edward? You're attracted?
Gross.
What's the City of Forks Police Department insurance like? And do we have mental health covered?
Probably not.
Not in 2008.
Charlie's still single when there's this waitress who's in love with him. That's one session therapy session that could get him to talk to her, you know?
And he's very clearly not over Renee also.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is where Bella goes home and starts Googling, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She starts Googling and looking up different like myths about cold ones and vampires of all these different like,
Just like
what
zooming
listing the
in on
way.
words.
I think I liked how they did film it though, because it does
Mhm.
show like how many different cultures around the world do have vampire
Yeah.
myths. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it also shows kind of like her thought process without, again,
Hmm.
without her narrating, we're getting her thought process through.
Yeah.
And I like how Catherine Hardwicke did that, like with the eye color
Hmm.
and the zoom in. And like we're getting indirect pieces of her thought process without them being like, I was
Yeah.
starting to think he was a vampire. It's like, yeah, no
Hmm.
shit, y'all are.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Yeah. Yeah. And then this next thing though, rewatching it, I just was like, what? What? She gets to school and then she makes eye contact with Edward and then she just walks off campus straight into the woods.
This is one scene where I do not agree. I think they did a lot, like when they changed things from the book to the movie, I think they did a
Hmm.
lot of things well.
Hmm.
This was insane.
Yes. Yeah.
So unnecessary. It could have been part of that car scene. They already filmed the car scene. They could have
Hmm.
kept it like it was in the book, and I think it would have been
Hmm.
better. But now we've got stalking. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we had it already to begin with,
Yeah.
but now we're just
It's
following her.
stalking. She's not telling anyone she's going in the woods, which you don't do anytime you're going in the woods. You need to
Hmm.
tell someone where you're headed to. So that
Hmm.
way, if you don't return, they know where to look.
Did she assume he
She
was gonna follow her?
I
Like, what if
think
he
she
didn't follow her and
knew.
she was just sitting there? I would have been so embarrassed.
Yeah. Like he follows her, which is stalking, creepy, because he
Hmm.
can't read her thoughts. That's like a whole plot point.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then also like she's skipping school, which means that they're gonna call Charlie, a police officer, and be like, "Hey, Bella didn't come to school. Is she sick?"
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Speaking of skipping school, we don't get blood type in the movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Already down to a C minus and just losing that scene. But anyway.
Yeah, so they go into the woods and we have the whole I know what you are scene. Once we're in the woods, I'm fine with how this plays out.
Hmm.
It's just the getting to the woods. I'm like, this is a dumb way to do it.
Yeah. It felt like that was a very last minute decision to get them into the woods.
Yeah,
They could have
absolutely.
done it better.
Hmm. Yeah. And then so we have the I know what you are. You're incredibly fast.
Your eyes change color. And sometimes you talk like you're from a different time.
And I love the camera work. It's like just like not just like Dutch angles, but it's like zooming in and like it's just like a weird drone that is like starting the battery starting to die and it's like
Yeah.
going
The
sideways.
whole time, what you don't see is that she's written out bullet point like things on her hands, and she's like, "You're fast, you're strong, you don't eat or drink anything." Like she's just referencing the notes on her
And
hands.
here are the reasons why I think you are a vampire.
And for these reasons, she's got a thesis going.
Yes. And he's like, say it. And then she goes, vampire. And then he grabs her and it's like starts
Yeah.
flying up the mountains. Now we're kidnapping.
Yeah. And once again, in the book, it was very like, close your eyes, I got you.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the book, Edward is like kind of funny.
Yeah.
In the movie, he's just so damn intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah. And then he gets to finds a little bit of sunlight and he's like, it's the skin of a killer and it's the glittering skin.
He's beautiful. Kind of a killer.
And then at one point he's like, I've killed people before, Bella. And he goes, it doesn't matter. I'm like, Bella is so horny for this man that she doesn't care that he's murdered people.
Yeah. And this is also where we start to get a Boston accent.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Their interaction, it's like they're so intense and so, but like not, there's no like sexual tension. It's just
He's
intense.
like leaning on a branch
Yeah.
and she's like looking up, talking to him.
Yeah.
Can you stand? Why are we doing all this?
We get it. You can jump high.
Yeah.
You want a cookie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it the as if you could outrun me? And he
Hmm.
like does a little zoom. I need to, oh my God, I need to do that. That's how I'm gonna like introduce myself the first day of school this year and be like, y'all can't outrun me and do like a little trot around the classroom.
Or then like as you think of stop with his strength and he pulls out like not really a big tree. It's like a kind of smaller tree.
Honestly, I think I could do that in the same sense that I think I could realistically play in the NFL and not get hurt. Like if I was padded up like the rest of the players, I think I could do it. And I also fully believe that if I were trapped in a room on fire for 3 seconds, I could run through the fire to get out of it. So like I have this inflated part of my brain. So I do also think that I could rip that tree
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. I think you said of all the ones, I think you could do the tree. The rest,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I need to see some data or something. I also don't really know how football works. So, um,
I think I could just be faster than them.
okay.
I think you could outrun me.
They eventually get to like the nice, like beautiful meadow
The dream.
randomly in the middle of the woods, which I'm like, that's not how the forest works, but okay, guys.
I was curious about that. As someone who did not grow up in that part of the country, I'm
Hmm.
not familiar with meadows or like deep forests like that, but I did
Yeah.
not think that that's how that worked.
No, they can be meadows that way, but it has to have like the whole like mountainside has to be cleared or
Yeah.
something else or like a strong wind. Like once you get higher up in the mountains, you get the shorter like bush trees that are
Hmm.
like waist high, and then they'll have like meadows and stuff, but you're like at the top of the mountains there because of the wind that
Yeah.
just doesn't let the big trees grow. But having a meadow in the middle of a densely populated forest, I think Edward's creating this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he's just spending his time cutting down trees and making a nice meadow for his butterfly garden. This
He
is my
said
head
one day,
canon.
I'm going to meet a 17-year-old
Hmm.
and this is how I'm going to woo her. This
Yeah.
is premeditated.
And we're gonna lay down next to each other and stare at each other, but not touch.
No,
No.
this is premeditated, which makes it, there's another charge there.
Hmm. Hmm. We should have kept count. How many? But we do hear Bella's lullaby, I think maybe the first time we start hearing
Mhm.
that theme here, and it's like spinning around. And again, when I was a teenager, I thought this was adorable and so lovely. And I was just like, no. And when that scene came on, I was like, hey, Isaac, want to go lay in a meadow next to each other? And he goes, no, there'll be ticks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Hello.
Yeah.
Bees?
Bees and ticks. No thanks.
No.
But the next day, I love this scene when they get to school the next day. The music, or Angela, first it's on Angela, who like slow-mo says, like, oh my
She's
God.
taking a picture or something and lowers the
Yeah.
camera.
And it's slow-mo and Edward with the sunglasses, Robert Pattinson. I was like, when this came out, I was like, yes, okay, I'm glad to know that you are still hot. And I was correct.
Hmm.
Edward, good job.
Hmm.
He's like suddenly so cool and suave and like doesn't care if people are looking at him.
Because
And
he's going to
again,
hell anyway.
I love it. But then the siblings staring at him from the like little red car cracked me up.
Yeah. Rosalie in all of this cracks me up because
Yes.
she's so intense.
I feel like so many of these actors don't think they're filming the same movie. I think that's why a lot of this doesn't match up, is they all have
Right.
different versions of what movie they are filming.
And I think that stems back to such vague writing that
Yes,
they have all created their own version of this movie in their heads.
absolutely. Yeah. We learn a little bit of how Edward became a vampire. We have a flashback of him dying and
Hmm.
Carlisle saving him, which like I found a little creepy if you think about it. Like this adult man vampire biting
Yeah.
the neck of his a 17-year-old.
Who is so against changing people against their will.
Yeah, it was creepy. Problematic. They get home that day and Edward's like, hey, I gotta go. Things just got complicated. And it's because Billy and Jacob are showing up to the house
Hmm.
to watch the Mariners game. Again, a very Pacific Northwest thing.
Hmm.
My stepdad loves the Mariners. So I was
With
just
that,
like,
with that beer, with the, what
the
is it?
Rainier beer, Vitamin
Yes.
R. I love Rainier beer so much. Like it is just shitty beer. It is like a
Oh,
PBR. It is like a McUltra, but it's the
okay.
best version of it. I love
Oh,
it so much. And I
I'm
remember
intrigued.
during COVID, I was rewatching these movies, and I remember I started crying when I saw the Rainier beer.
I love a shitty beer. I love a Pilsner.
Yes.
I love a Mich Ultra, a Natty. So now I feel like I have to try it at least once.
Oh, absolutely. I love them so much. But I do like that they like actually like they talk about the Mariners, which is like, yes, they would be going for the Mariners, but also like they have like actual like randomly very good details, like
Hmm.
the red knights. And I'm just like, this is so weird.
She's washing her car and Edward like jumps at on it. And he just gets that dent out real quick.
You know how much money they could be making just doing that?
And he goes, "You gonna come meet my family?" And she's like, "What if they don't like me?" And then we get the little Boston accent of, "You're worried not that you're going to a house full of vampires, but because they don't like you." And I'm not gonna attempt the accent,
Yeah.
but it's just like,
Go
okay,
watch it. It's an
we
accent, yeah.
we could have refilmed that.
Yeah, probably. It would have made more sense. But Bella goes to meet the Cullens and their mansion home.
Mm.
It's beautiful.
She's not wearing a khaki skirt.
She's not.
She's wearing a very normal outfit, and I have a lot of issue with that.
Besides, after the bowling outfit, a bowling shirt, all of her clothes are very normal and like just like earth tones.
So this long khaki skirt and blue long sleeve that she dons in the book,
Hmm.
I need to see Chapel Roan do that because that's right up
Yes.
her alley, and I think she would do
Yes.
a really good job, especially like exaggerating that it's a nod to that.
Yeah.
I need her to do that.
Yeah, like with like, I don't know, like a picture of Edward on like the butt or something like that. Like,
Yeah, or
but like
like
her backup dancers being vampires, like,
yeah, or like a fake chest tattoo that says Edward or something on it.
yeah.
Like anyone listening, who can get me in contact with Chapel Roan? I have something very important to tell you.
They're at the mansion and adorably the Cullens are making Italian food and using the kitchen
Mhm.
for the first time. And it's like such a sweet like gesture.
Her name's Bella.
Her name's Bella. She must like Italian food. Is she even Italian, Rosalie?
They're
And
like
like
watching a cooking show on how to cook. I think it's very kind.
it's super sweet. Bella, of course, like any person meeting someone's family is gonna be like, yeah, I love Italian food. I will eat it. And then Edward's like, she already ate. Like, what a dick move. He knew their
Yeah,
thoughts. He can read their thoughts. There's no
yeah.
excuse for Edward to ever be a dick to anyone if he can read their thoughts.
I would have been like, what is wrong with you? Like, that is
Yeah,
so tactless.
yeah,
Just let me eat this food real quick. Also, you don't know what it's like to be human. I always have room for pasta.
absolutely.
So I will eat that actually. Because now, what if I was hungry
Yeah,
and I already ate, and now I have to be like, oh yeah, I guess I'm not hungry.
yeah,
Don't speak for me. I'm very passionate about pasta.
as you should be. I love that Rosalie then breaks the bowl.
Hmm.
And well, fun fact, the reason why why she's wearing those gloves is because in an earlier take, she got a cut
Oh
and was
no, was it
bleeding,
real
had to get
glass?
bandaged. Uh-huh. It's like it's a fake glass.
Oh, but it can still cut you.
Apparently. And so they had to bandage one of her hands, but then you could see the bandage, so they just put gloves on her.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which but also like it fits.
it works. They're very high fashion.
Definitely. Yeah. And then Alice comes in and it's like quirky little Alice, which I love.
She comes
Um,
in off a tree.
hmm just casually. Yeah. They were for sure spying on them coming down the road.
Mhm.
Yeah. We have the graduation caps, which is so fun.
I like it.
I like how Edward's like, it's an inside joke. It's not an inside joke. Everyone gets it. Y'all are
Yeah.
old as fuck. There's nothing inside about that.
Also, who's on the outside? Because who comes over?
Yeah.
Like at this point, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
There is no inside.
No. Then we see Edward's room, which is like just like the coolest little hangout, listen to music room. And he tries to get Bella to dance. And Bella's like, I can't dance.
It hurts my chest watching that scene.
It's so
Like not
bad.
heartburn, like heart attack. Like it hurts my
Uh-huh.
chest. I could always make you. Ew.
No, what?
No.
And then we get the hold on tight spider monkey.
Spider Monkey has a very dear place in my heart. I think I've told you this. In eighth grade, I was on a Twilight collab channel on YouTube called the
Mhm.
Spider Monkey Mafia.
I love it.
I privated all my videos and then somebody changed the password like 10 years ago. So they're lost to the internet,
There you go.
but I wish I could go see them.
Yeah, I also do, but I'm glad because if I could have found them, that means your students could find them, which is good that they're privated.
That's true.
Yeah,
I would never live that down.
no, yeah, never. It would have become one of their backgrounds in their computers, like they do that.
Oh my God. A side note, our one of our deans, they took his picture and then they edited it for him to have like the face tattoos of Young Thug. Like all their background. And this is like
That's pretty
6'4"
funny.
white guy.
That's pretty funny though.
They're so funny. I was like, guys, you shouldn't do that. And I'm like cracking up.
Can you send it to me? Edward's again taking Bella through the woods randomly for no reason, really. And then they stare at each other on a tree really high up. And then they're suddenly back in the house and he's playing piano. And it's Bella's lullaby, which the song is so good.
It is good, but there's a side of the internet that decided on what Bella's Lullaby was before the movie came out, and it
Mm,
was the song River Flows in You.
okay.
And I do prefer that one, even though I know it's not canon. That was like the
Yeah.
fan lullaby before the
The
movie.
fan. Gotcha.
Mhm.
I was not aware of that. See, I
Mhm.
wasn't in the like Twilight fan world.
I was all up in there.
Yeah, besides just like me and my friends reading it. Besides that, now
Yeah,
once we got to Hunger Games Town, then I was in the Tumblrs, but not until
I
then.
was in the Twilight Tumblr, and then it transitioned into One Direction, and
Yeah,
just yeah.
yeah, understandably. Then we get the cops hunting the wild vampires, and we have them running barefoot through the woods.
Trigger
Gross,
warning, 30 feet.
dirty feet. Bella goes home, but she ends up finding Edward in her bedroom.
Do you do that often?
He's like, yeah, creepy. And then they end up kissing.
She's not wearing pants in that scene.
She's not wearing pants.
Right? She's in underwear. It like because he's got his hand on her hip and it looks like, or she's in very short shorts.
Or those pajama shorts that are like
Yeah.
just basically underwear.
Yeah. But I was trying to pause it and watch it again. I'm like, is she in like boy short underwear? Like
Yeah.
it was a little
Scandalous. It ain't no khaki skirt.
not very demure.
Not
Not
very
very demure.
cutesy.
Yeah.
Edward meets Charlie, and I love the scene where Bella's like, "Hey, I want you to meet someone," and he has like his gun out, and then he like
Talks
talks,
to
and I
them.
was like, he's like, "All right," and I'm like, "That's fair. That's within character."
It's cute.
Yeah, Edward takes Bella to go play baseball with his family.
Donna.
The best sports scene in all of film history.
I
No
shared something like
notes.
that on my Facebook. I was like, Twilight is the best baseball movie. But then all
Yes.
my boomer relatives were like, actually, this is the best sports movie.
No.
No.
No. I remember last year because Isaac hadn't seen Twilight before last year, and I remember telling him that's a sports movie, and he was like,
Yeah.
"What?" And then once it got to the scene, which lasts like what, not even a minute, and
Yeah.
he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a sports movie."
And it's the perfect song to go with it. And it is super massive. I love
It's
Supermassive Black Hole.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Though I will say, Esme's hat on top of her wig is a war crime.
They did her so dirty with that.
It it's so bad.
But
Um.
Alex's little kick when she pitches,
Oh, so cute.
very demure.
It's so cute.
And that's what did I say was cunty earlier? That's not cunty. This is cunty.
This is cunty. Yeah,
Yes.
truly. Alice's pitch is cunty. Absolutely. And then I will say Rosalie saying my monkey man is disgusting.
That is, I am pretty sure that actually violates the Geneva Convention.
Definitely.
we,
Absolutely.
we can't have that again.
No, it's awful. That part, the hat and that line, the rest of it, no notes. Them running into each other, them running fast. I love it.
Use
It's Exactly. It's
Yeah.
all wonderful. And then we get interrupted by the three evil vampires, and everyone's freaking out because they're like, oh shit, there's a human here. Like, duh.
Their whole thing is that there's not enough time to get Bella away
Hmm.
because the scent is already there, so she might as well just stay.
Hmm.
But then it takes a good minute 47 seconds for these
Hmm.
fucking vampires to finally reach the field. With
Yes.
Edward's super speed, they could have absolutely hold on tight, Sparty Monkey. We're at
Yeah.
in 7 seconds, we're gone.
Hmm.
They had
Yeah.
plenty of time.
And if the three wanted to track and chase them at that moment, the rest of them could have stopped them.
Yeah, right there. Ended
And
it
they're
right there.
far enough away from humans to have a battle.
Yeah. And Alice
Yeah.
can predict all their moves.
Yeah.
Done. He's done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything fixed. Happily ever after. I do love that the vampires hiss like cats.
Hmm.
It's dumb and very funny.
I love that the hissing is stemmed from James going, "You brought a snack." I mean,
You're
like, oh my
like,
God, you think I'm a snack? Thank you.
thanks.
I
And
remember watching a Twilight parody on YouTube around this time because that's all
mhm,
to do. And somebody parodied that scene, and it cuts to Bella, and she's like holding a Hershey bar.
mhm.
Just like stupid. Like, yeah, she did bring a snack.
It's my trail mix.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so fun. But that causes everyone to freak out. And so they're like, shit, what we're gonna do? Like they find out that James is like a super tracker and will stop at nothing because he's obsessive. And so they set up a plan, and essentially it's just we have the whole scene where Bella goes and pretends to break up with Edward and yelling at Charlie.
I can't with her. And the way his voice cracks when he's like, "I
Mhm.
just got you back."
He does so well in this scene. But Kristen Stewart does the best she could at this
The,
moment. But
the empath in me
mhm,
is in tears in that scene.
yes,
Because what are you doing to Charlie?
yeah, justice for Charlie. He
Just
doesn't
like we
deserve
said with the
this.
book, she didn't have to do all that. She could have just,
No.
I'm going, I'll be
Yeah.
back, or like maybe I'll be back. I don't know.
Yeah. He's not going to stop her. He doesn't have a
No,
backbone when it comes to like actively getting into her life. Like he wants
no.
to, like he's too respectful of her space,
It was just
you
so
know?
unnecessary.
Yeah. Rosalie is still anti-Bella, which they don't really explain why in this movie. They explain it later, but like she's still like just being a bitch, which also I get it. Alice and Jasper take Bella down to Phoenix, where James is tracking Edward and the others and trying to mix them all up. But then Alice sees, and this like happens so much faster than it does in the book.
Yes.
It's like it's almost too fast.
This is within like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. Alice sees a vision of James that he changed his course and gets a vision of what ends up being a ballet studio that Bella recognizes. Then we have this change, which I think is the lamest change they have, right? It's that for some reason Alice and Jasper are talking to the front desk at the hotel.
Uh-huh.
Like, why?
Yeah.
No reason given that. They don't need to. They can call up room service. They don't need room service. They don't eat. Bella gets a phone call from her mom, but then James comes on the line and says, you got to sneak out
Hmm.
or else your mom's dead. And she's able to sneak out super easily.
And she's like, leave her alone, which one of my biggest, like, my favorite part about the book was how
Hmm.
scary that conversation was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's sitting there next to vampires who have super hearing, going,
Uh-huh.
leave her alone, don't touch her, mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, what do
Hmm.
you like? Why didn't they hear that?
It doesn't make sense, but she's able to escape and she runs into the ballet studio. And the whole time she's talking about like we get a voiceover where she's like, I'd gladly give my life for my mom. I'm sad I
Hmm.
won't see Edward again, that kind of stuff. But she runs in and we hear the same recording of her mom screaming for Bella. And then we find out it is like the VHS tape. And the way they film that is so cool. And then we see James in the mirrors.
That was scary.
So cool. It's so creepy.
And he keeps like
Um,
turning his head.
he plays like an animalistic
Hmm.
villain so well. It's like, yes, I am going to be attacked by this like leopard, like or like puma. Like it's like
Yeah,
what he's like acting like. It's so
yeah,
creepy.
it's
Yeah.
great.
Bella pepper sprays him.
Pisses him off.
Yeah, it pisses him off, but also like pepper spray is not going to do anything to a vampire.
Yeah. You needed garlic spray.
If anything, it's going to hurt her
Yeah,
being
because
that
she's gonna
close to
breathe
pepper
it in.
spray.
Yeah.
And then he attacks her, and this whole scene like is fast, but also like scary. Like he's like breaking her leg and recording her to send it to
Stomping on
Edward.
her leg and then being
Yeah,
like, "Tell me how much it hurts," or whatever. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh, again, what kind
right. A teenage love story.
of movie is
Duh. And then of course Edward shows up and starts to fight James. But James is able to bite Bella in the arm before the others arrive. And then the others come in and the boys take James and like start like beating him up. And then Alice like rips off his head, which is so
this? Tears his
cool.
ass up.
Yeah. And then they set him on fire. But the whole like Edward feeling in agony about her arm bit.
Well, there's also a part there where Alice is
Oh
like, Carla,
yeah.
the blood, and she like sniffs the blood on her fingers,
Hmm.
and like her eyes kind of roll.
Yeah.
And he's like, Carla, I was like, go, get out of here.
Yeah. It's like, I'm literally a doctor. I got this. Go away.
Which why
Yeah.
didn't Jasper lunge at her then?
Because he was too concentrated on trying to kill the other vampire. Because
Yeah,
she doesn't tear off the head until after the blood, sniffing the
that's
blood.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Then she
Okay.
goes and helps. But Edward has to suck out the venom from the arm. And the music that they choose from the scene, I really like that song, but it does not fit the vibe.
Well, it's Robert Pattinson, right?
Yeah, it's him,
Yeah. So
which
shameless
is
plug.
cool. Yeah, shameless plug. He's in this movie more than once than one. Like it is cool that they put his music in because he's like a good singer and I like that
Yeah.
song. But like it's not a song for like the whole line, like I'll hold you in my arms while he's sucking the venom out of her arm.
And his eyes are like bewildered. He's like,
He's like, ooh,
yeah,
like he's like
going crazy
possessed.
with it.
Yeah.
That is where we need Supermassive Black Hole.
Yes.
That is where that song should be.
When lightning
Play
strikes.
play it twice. No, actually, anytime there's a song in the movie, just play Supermassive Black Hole. So like they're on the
The whole
bridge
time.
going to the airport in Phoenix,
Hmm.
and it's just a the only song
Only
should be
song
Supermassive
in the
Black Hole.
meadow with them looking at each other longingly. I'm sure someone could edit that through.
I would actually watch that all the way
Me
through the whole
too.
movie.
That'd be really funny. That'd be a good version to do a drinking game too. He's able to take out the venom without killing her, though it's a close call. Carlisle is like, you're killing her, Edward.
And he just looks at Carlisle while he's like doing it.
Yeah.
He's just staring.
It's like, what am I gonna do about it? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then Bella faints. When she faints, we get really cool like flashback scenes of like her life,
Mm-hmm.
which is really fun. I liked
Yeah.
that because I was like, oh, does that mean she died? Does that mean that she's a vampire? No, there's
There's like
four more
there.
movies, sadly. But like, and so she wakes up and her mom is there, and Edward's quote sleeping.
Never leaves.
Yeah, I think her mom is played just to how she is in the book, for better and for worse. She's just kind of there.
When she's talking to Bella one of the first times, you see that like she hasn't called in days because she lost her
Hmm.
charger. And it's
Hmm.
just we ran away from her. Like just there's that harebrained, erratic
Yeah.
Renee that we all know.
And they make up a story that the same story that she fell down stairs through a window, and like Bella sees their version of what they made up, and then she gets a flashback of what actually happens at the same time, which I think that's a fun way to like Bella coming to and like realizing what all happened.
And I like that
Um,
it's Renee telling us
yeah,
that like I don't know. I just there are some creative choices where I'm like, actually, I really like that.
yeah. Then they get back to Forks, and Bella's coming down the stairs with her cast boot on her foot in her
Yeah.
little dress with her leggings because no kneecaps in this film.
Of
No
course
free
not.
kneecaps. And she's going to prom with Edward. Her Charlie's like very hesitant about it, as he is, but again, he doesn't stop her because he's not very proactive
Mhm.
as a parent. To get to prom, Jacob crashes prom to tell Bella to break up with Edward and that his dad will be watching her. And it's like, okay, cool. And then they have the actual prom dance, and we have the slow dance to Flightless Bird.
Every single day of my life, I will regret that that was not the wedding dance song. at my
Honestly,
wedding.
it's very surprising that it wasn't.
In the moment, I was like, maybe it's too tongue in cheek, like it's tacky, like I should do a song that like my husband
Hmm.
also likes.
I guess he is part of your marriage.
He's there too. But I'm like, man, I should have that. I regret not making that the first dance song because
Yeah.
it's so good.
It's a great song. Iron and Wine had a moment during these years too.
Yeah.
Like he like
Yeah.
obviously he blew up partially because of this song, but also because he's like talented. But this
Yeah.
song was on everyone's like at every
I heard
slow
that
dance
this
my whole
song
high
was a
school.
suggestion from Kristen Stewart.
Hmm.
Like, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, go
Yeah.
you.
And they have a adorable slow dance and Bella's like, why won't you let me become a vampire? Why don't you let the venom take over? And he's just like, I want you to live. I don't want to be the one that reason why that you died, which is like fair enough, Edward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of like it ends there, but then we see Victoria has been watching them, and she's also like dressed up. Why is she dressed up?
She's at this prom.
Yeah, she's at the prom apparently, but she's been watching them, and then she like slow-mo like walks down the stairs as Radiohead starts to play.
The,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's where it ends.
Yeah,
And I think it's a great little ending.
it is because it sets us up, obviously,
Hmm.
for what's to come. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert. But even if you didn't watch the other four movies,
Hmm.
that's it. Like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
The only fun fact I had that I did not already mention is that the evil vampires are wearing slippers painted to look like feet when they're running barefoot.
Ew, oh, I hate that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I thought
I
it was
know
really
that
gross.
when they're coming in on the baseball scene, they were actually like on a what's like the moving sidewalks like
Yeah.
in the
Like at the
airport.
airport.
They were like
Yeah.
walking on that to make it go faster too, but the painted slipper is terrible.
Hmm.
I hate that so much.
Yeah. It's a bit gross. Were you watching this? I mean, obviously I knew I loved this movie, but like
Hmm.
after rereading it, I was like, this movie is a great adaptation.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is. And I know like I take a lot of shit for it because I am publicly a supporter of
Hmm.
Twilight in the
Hmm.
year 2024. It's a great adaptation, but it's not a great movie. And I know that.
Yes.
But it's fun. And I think that in
Hmm.
the same way that we need trashy TV, like as a fun thing, we also
Yes.
need trashy books and movies.
Hmm.
And this is the perfect, like, guilty pleasure, trashy, so fun. No,
Hmm.
it's not deep. I don't want deep. I just want to veg out and like
Yes.
just
No
do something
thoughts.
mindless.
Yes.
And it's so nostalgic.
Hmm.
It's like a little
I
time capsule.
I 100% agree. Like, and like all the plot holes of this movie are plot holes in the book. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like they
And
improved
she
on everything they
attempts to
could.
fix them in the later books because she's
Yeah.
like writing these as it's getting,
Hmm.
popular. And she doesn't fix all of them, but like, okay.
She creates a few more. It's okay.
Oh, she
Looking
creates.
at Breaking Dawn.
That's what I was just gonna say. That is my favorite plot hole.
Yeah.
Is
The
how
whole.
let's go to Vampire Anatomy.
Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this, and I think it's a great adaptation, and the music slaps, and I think it's such a like a cultural touchstone, and the memes and the like the obsession that everyone had, like the Twihards, dumbest name.
Oh my God, but I wore it proudly.
Oh, I'm
I
sure you
wore it
did.
proudly.
I was, I loved them, but I was like also trying to be cool. So I was always like, I would never like talk about it, but if everyone brought it up, I'd be like, oh, I know.
I was to the point, I was obnoxious with it. I don't know how I had friends. The DVD came out the last day of spring break in seventh grade. And
Hmm.
so we had a Twilight theme party where we did
Hmm.
trivia and such. And I dressed up as Alice. And
Did you do
then,
your hair all flippy?
mhm,
That's fun.
um, and I had a Twilight themed birthday party. My mom made
Hmm.
me this cake. It had a ribbon, like eclipse going around the bottom with chess pieces and an apple and a
Hmm.
flower hanging off of it. And there were werewolf cupcakes and vampire cupcakes that when you bit in, there was blood. It's
That's
just
so
like
fun.
it was such a fun thing to be a part of while it was
Yeah.
happening. And I tried to convince people in school. I was like, something doesn't feel right. What color are my eyes? Like, I seriously think back to this day at school where I was like, they're a little bit more golden than brown today. Like, I might be turning into a vampire, knowing full well I am a 12-year-old girl, human, not bit.
Yeah.
But like it was just a personality type,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
And it was fun.
It's just a good time.
It's
And
yeah.
I really enjoyed the reread and the watch. Like,
And there
so
was
fun.
nothing like it. Like I'm also part of like huge fan of
hmm
Harry Potter.
hmm
I was at the midnight premieres. I read the Hunger Games. I was at the midnight premieres. Like,
hmm
but none of those, they were fun and I love them.
Yeah.
But none of them were on the scale of Twilight.
Yeah. And like, and Twilight's also responsible, the book and this movie franchise, for like restarting young adult literature and movies. Like, yes, like Harry Potter had that for a while, but all the other ones between Harry Potter and Twilight
Mhm.
kind of like flopped because they weren't to that level,
Yeah.
right? And there are some things that came from Twilight that like probably and Harry Potter that are not great as far as like the splitting movies up in two parts.
Yeah.
That works for it worked for Harry Potter because it was a huge ass book.
Mhm.
I want to argue that it didn't work for Breaking Dawn.
It was a cash grab.
Absolutely. And so like that like kind of like that's like a negative, I guess you could say, but and also all the like bullshit that the Kristen Stewart and Edward and Robert Pattinson had to deal with.
Yeah.
Oops, Edward. But like the celebrity parts of it all, which understandably was sucky for a lot of different reasons for them. But as far as like Twilight affecting literature, like yes, it was coming back because slightly of Harry Potter, but everyone was looking for the next Harry Potter. And then when Twilight came out, they're like, oh, we can do other genres of YA
Yeah.
and middle grade, and people will still buy them. And so, like,
This
mhm,
book and this series was the catalyst for a lot of people's love of reading.
yeah,
Warrior Cats could never.
hmm hmm
It had to be Twilight.
yes. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Fun little time. Please follow us on Instagram at Read the Book First Podcast. Leave us 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Share, like all those things. And we'll have more vampire episodes coming up soon. I've posted on the Instagram by this point, so you should check out the Instagram. How many times can I say Instagram? All right. Thanks for listening. And remember, read the book first.